Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Gooners podcast. So, this is about the. I mean, it's a really fun experience to come back and say this that we won against Manchester City after what's it, 2015? Yeah,
8 years,
2015,
yeah.
8 years. So, it's good to say that we won. So we are here to do the review of that game. With me today we have the usuals. Arun, hi Arun,
Hello.
and Deepak, hi Deepak. He's on mute. He said hello.
Awesome. Hello.
But yeah, before we start, the usual things, please do continue supporting us. We are, thankful for everything that has happened till now. I think we are in 299, if I'm not mistaken, 299 subs. So we are one sub away
We're
from
almost there, almost
we are
there.
almost there to the 300. And thank you so much for those support. And please continue doing it. Share it with your friends, be it Arsenal fans or non-Arsenal fans who wants to look at us and be happy for us or be sad that we are doing well. With that out of the way, let's start the discussion. First thing first, as usual, I'll start with the like. What are your first thoughts after the victory? Like, yes, we've talked about we are winning after 2015, but yeah, we have had those community shields, FA Cup wins in the middle. But in league, they've always won against us, or those kind of games where even last year we did play well, but like De Bruyne decided that he wanted to change the game and went ahead and did this. Arun, 1-0 victory.
Very happy. Very happy. I didn't want anything more. And even in the last episode when Deepak and I were talking, we were talking about just the fact that it's so difficult to get a victory against them. We don't want too much. All that we want, though we both of us were not certain about a victory, we were like they would have just been happy with the 1-0 victory, and that's what happened. Very, very happy with the way in which we played. It was very different from how we normally play against City as well as other teams. And that showed it was a stark contrast to what we saw against like RC Lens, where we did not really prepare as well as we should have for the game. This was like a very well prepared, very well coached team playing specifically for the game against City. Very, very happy. For me, it was like more than how effective we were. It was about like how we realized what we should not be doing, and we never went that path at all. Normally when we do watch the game at the Emirates, we come out like with a lot of energy, coming out with being over enthusiastic and like wanting to do something within the first 15 minutes. We did not fall for that trap, and it was very similar to how we played against them in the Community Shield game. uh, Kudos to the manager, and very well done, like the entire team. It was a wonderful. Tactically, it might have both the neutrals. Definitely, I'm pretty sure like a lot of them would have said like it's a very, very boring game. But for us fans who are watching what the team is doing, and how both the teams are playing off the ball, and how each one was just trying to outwit the other, uh, mainly because it's two managers with similar philosophies. It was it was really interesting to watch it. Just the game staying in the middle of the pitch.
I think
Um,
it was Peter Drury who said that like when neutrals or like people who have not no interest in a game watch a game that goes to 80th minute, and at the 80th minute the game is like 0-0, for a neutral or who's not invested in any side of the team will feel it's a boring game. But
boring
for the
game. Yeah.
person who is invested in it, when a team goes to 80th minute on a 0-0, that is the most excruciating, what
Yeah.
did he call it? Squeaky bum moment of
Yep.
the next 10 minutes define your week, your month, your everything, right? Like whether you win it, lose it, that 10 minutes
Absolutely.
is what defines it.
Absolutely.
Uh,
It was for me like it was how we played on the ball, off the ball, and like most of the games when you're usually playing against City, it's either end to end if you're playing against a team like if they're playing against a team like Liverpool. Otherwise, it's all the opposition is always in their first third, and
mhm.
it's City attacking. Whereas none of that happened in this game. It was mostly in the middle third, like, about 60-70% of the game was played there. It was only the other times when either of the team tried to go past that middle phase that they were able to try and do something.
Mhm.
And the amount of control that we had over City and over the entire game, unbelievable. It was very, very good. I was very happy with it.
Deepak, the thing about the 1-0 victory is that for me, more than the one, I'm more like happy about the nil, because this season we have conceded what, 6 goals till now, and that is the
Yeah,
same number as like City, I guess. The thing is, the 6 goals that we have conceded, four of it was from individual errors, which means like we literally conceded only 2 goals this entire season, at least till now. It's not a huge thing to go by, but like still 2 goals from the actual gameplay of the other team is a pretty good yardsticks to start with. And
yeah,
to
we have been defensively sound, and Gabriel coming into the team. Like, I don't know why Arteta started the first 2 matches without him, but yeah, coming back to our first choice back four has been like really good. We have been like strong defensively. That that's going to be the bedrock for the upcoming matches in the season.
yeah,
So
but this
we
this
have to,
game, like literally Haaland had 0 shots, like
yeah,
not 0 shots on target, 0 shots.
yeah,
Oh,
zero
this
shots.
City for themselves, they had only four. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry, Deepak.
we
Yeah,
it's people would say like City underperformed, but it's like I would say it's the opposite. We made them to
yeah.
the game which we had made them to underperform. Yeah, they can say they missed Rodri, they and everything. Yeah, we also missed Saka and Martinelli and stuff. So it was like an even battle,
Mhm.
and luckily we came out on top. And yeah, we deserved it, like because we went for the win in the last 15-20 minutes. We were the
Yeah.
only team who were trying to win. City, like probably after 70 minutes, they were happy to go with a draw from here, given
Mhm.
that they were missing their crucial players. And also, I felt the starting lineup which Pep put out, like clearly said he didn't want to win. He just wanted to like get something out of the game, like a 1-0 or something, like a magic from Haaland or Foden or something. But
He
nothing of
started
that
fearing
happened.
us. How
Yeah,
he started fearing us. Yeah.
No, but the
yeah,
thing the
yeah.
thing
Go ahead.
is, right, like the thing is, uh like we can say all those things like last season, when our season kind of went from title to title challenges, was that City game, right, where they
Hmm.
came out of the blocks, where they went like they needed a win there. Like even the game
Yeah,
that was like at the start of the season, they needed a win because we were having this bang of a start, and then like City were catching up, so they needed a win in both those games when they came to us, or we went there. But this time there's no such pressure, right? Like maybe that's one of the reasons why the game was kind of yeah, this is this the we could have settled for a draw. Like even in the Community Shield, it was a 1-1 draw, right? Like we could say, yeah, we won on penalties, but it was a 1-1 draw. So is it kind of becoming like, it's not word, I shouldn't be putting the word boring, but it's like we keep saying that Arteta versus Pep has been like this, chess games. But is it becoming more like managers trying to control everything on the pitch, that nothing magical happens on the pitch?
yeah. They are like these two are properly the two teams are defined by their managers. It's not like something magical is going to happen. Yeah, it might happen given the players like Saka or KDB or something. But these two teams play in a proper structure. Like the manager basically like says this is what you have to do. Uh, more like more City is more towards that. Like how Pep he has the complete control of their entire squad.
Mhm.
Every single person knows what he has to do. If he like moves out of his that define square box, I heard that he shouts at them. So
Yeah.
you know
They won't
how
play the next
there.
game.
I think like Pep doesn't care about scoring goals or like anything. He wants that control on the pitch.
I mean,
He,
they just won the treble, so whatever he does is working. He has been working for years and years, right?
he's like probably the best manager around.
Yeah,
Has
he's
been,
good.
yeah.
Like,
So
I
yeah,
asked the
I
same
don't.
question, right? Like not just about the manager, about the team. I was asking in our post-game interview in the club in the pub here, where I asked, are Manchester City one of, or if not, the best team of the Premier League era?
100%. There
Yeah.
is no doubt about it. Like, let's say, like the money they have spent, everything, leave aside. We have spent so much money.
Mhm.
Liverpool has spent, United have spent, but no one has
Chelsea.
come close to like, yeah, Chelsea. No one has come to close to City. They are definitely one of the greatest teams of Premier League era. There is no doubt about it.
Yeah,
Like,
I
given the
have
money,
another
the way, yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
so I have another thing to add on to this, because like when there are uh, generally two really strong teams or two or three really strong teams competing at the top, their games never end up being like high scoring games. Like if you go back to the Wenger Ferguson era, their games were never like when they were both in the title race, or even like when Mourinho came in. The games between those three teams, you would see maximum of 2 or 3 goals scored, and that's it. Because both the either manager would want to give away points, and that was a common thing back then. Until Pep came in and everything became lopsided, Liverpool play the way they do, whether they are challenging for the title or the top four spot, whatever it is, they don't change it. So they're like more like a Brighton. But apart from them, whenever there has been like a title race between two teams who are really strong at the top, it's always been like this. So I'm actually in fact like happy that we were able to pull this out, because that's how top teams play when they're going for a title race.
Mm.
That's why I said I'm very happy the way in which everything panned out. This is,
Yeah.
I think, if we do maintain our quality and like all of the other teams do sort of like be where they are, with one more team or two more teams becoming stronger, it will still be low scoring games between those four teams. It'll
Mhm.
be 1-0s or like 1-1 draws or 2-1 stops. Other Beyond that, it shouldn't go ideally, because that's how strong you're supposed to be, whether you're playing at home or away. So for me,
So
like, it was quite normal, I felt.
let me pull to the start of the game, right? Like around the starting lineup, our team at least. I'll go with our team first. I mean, uh, we put Raya out instead of Ramsdale, which was not surprising. Yes,
Hmm.
Yeah,
but
no.
hindsight, but hindsight is a different thing. So we'll talk about that later. But like Jorginho coming into the team and Nketiah staying in his striker position after the last game. Even we talked a lot about like Nketiah not being good in that position last game and all those things. And I'm not saying this game he was bad, but was that both decisions a little bit surprising?
Raya starting
Uh,
was not surprising for me.
No,
I
Jorginho and
think
Nketiah.
Jorginho was like, I felt that was a good option, which meant that Rice didn't have to be tied down to number 6.
Mhm.
Jorginho's, we know what Jorginho's strengths are. It's not his physicality, but his intelligence and the way in which he's able to cut down passing lanes and like intercept passes and use his body. Though he's small sized, he uses his body really well when he's
But for
passing.
me, the problem was I think it might be triggered by the Spurs game, where I was like, oh my God, Jorginho is going against what's his name?
Madison.
Alvarez, Alvarez,
Uh,
Julian
uh,
Alvarez. And I was like, okay, this means an early card. And that means that the team's going to be picked back. And he did get an early card.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, I was never really scared about Jorginho picking up another card, because you know what his experience is. He's not going to do stupid mistakes that will land himself in a card. And though he did pick up a card, you're right, he did pick up a card early, very early in the game, but so did White. And White had a like fantastic game right after that. So for me, Jorginho seemed the best option given Partey was not ready yet. And Havertz, I don't know if he was needed right from the beginning, given like the imbalance that we had. I don't know if we would have been able to sort of create as much given City's quality. When you're playing against another team, you can afford to take those chances. Even if Havertz flops, you have the rest of the team with the quality to um, do better than the opposition. But whereas it's City, you don't want to take those chances. So they want to strengthen the midfield, and they strengthen the midfield in a way that would, like I said, we usually begin or like during City games, we are very over enthusiastic. We want to make something happen. We try to overcommit to things. We never did any of that in this game. And
Mhm.
Jorginho is the perfect guy to implement that sort of a system when you don't have to overdo things. You just keep the basics simple. You do the basics right and just make sure that we don't do anything wrong. It was about like who did the fewer mistakes that wins the game, right? So, and during that sort of a game, I felt like Jorginho was perfect to contain what City were trying to do.
Mm.
And that helped us a lot. And when party came, it was like more even, which sort of gave us like the opportunity to create something out of somewhere. And that was again the same thing with Jorginho too. Both Raya and Jorginho were brought in to sort of give those balls, if possible, those long balls, if possible, to our forward line. And Raya was really bad in the first half. I'm not gonna lie. I was really frustrated with what he was doing because for me,
I mean,
one of the
we
main
are
things.
here. We are here. So, like, Raya for me, I'll ask this as a question to both of you, right?
Mhm.
Like, yes, we have discussed this over and over again, Raya versus Ramsdale and stuff. But does Raya bring enough to justify losing what Ramsdale brings to the team?
For
First half,
now, yeah, I
was
haven't seen too
ridiculous
much.
performance. Yeah,
Yeah,
first half was like he was a nervous wreck. But the way he improved in the second half, it was like really good. He didn't make any mistakes in the second half. His passing was crisp, if you
yeah,
see. And there was one instance where Gabriel literally like shot the ball against him, and like Alvarez came in and his control was exemplary. So I think, yeah, until now, Raya hasn't given us anything to prove that he has won over Ramsdale.
yeah.
But yeah, but maybe he might improve given that he has started 3-4 games and he might need time. But for me, yeah, I think he won't be dropped at all. He is the number one.
I
There,
think
this rotation of like goalkeeper substitution is just for the media.
Media.
exactly. See, that's what I was thinking. Like during the game, I was thinking, oh, this is the perfect game for Arteta to back what he said to the media that okay, I'm gonna substitute a goalkeeper. But
Because
I
the
mean,
other person is also not like someone like an Ederson who is like completely calm on the ball.
but but the thing is, like he said in the media, like when it was happening, he said
That is,
there was a
it is
game.
just for the media. If you believe that
Yeah.
he's just like saying for that he's
No,
going to substitute it, he's not going to.
no,
It's
he,
just for the media.
it's not like, oh, I'm gonna substitute, right? He said I wanted to substitute during a game, and then every one of us, including us in this podcast, went and said like, oh, this is the game against Fulham when he could have substituted. He wanted to substitute, but he didn't. And then now I'm gonna do this, and then there is a chance
I
that
never
comes up.
said he wanted to substitute. It was just like for a media gimmick and stuff. That's it. Raya is the number one. Ramsdale has
Y-
lost his spot.
but even then, like if you really think about it, if he had a Raya and a Ramsdale, and if Ramsdale was playing, then he probably could have substituted. But it was Raya starting already, right? So he was probably giving the manager what he wanted, and there was no necessity to bring a Ramsdale in. But if you ask me if I have seen whatever was promised about Raya over Ramsdale, I have not seen anything of that sort. Like the games that he has been comfortable in were the games that were much easier than
Mhm.
the others. Bournemouth game, he was very comfortable, but then we know where Bournemouth are on the table. The tougher
But
games, he has not. I've not seen anything that is like a calming effect or an
yeah,
improvement in passing or like whatever it might be. He was
but
really
the,
good in the second half.
But
In
the
the
thing
first
is,
half was very shaky.
I'll ask this, right? Like Deepak was mentioning that, okay, Raya, or both of you have mentioned, Raya have not shown anything to justify that he gets selected over Ramsdale. But does this game justify dropping Raya?
Dropping
No.
Raya? No, no, no.
Ramsdale has done like worse mistakes than this. Like
Mm.
when we didn't concede any goals from that
Yeah,
mistake. Why would you
yeah,
even drop?
exactly.
It's a
Yeah,
1-0
exactly. That's
clean
my
sheet
point too.
victory against Manchester City.
City, yeah.
Okay.
You will.
Like he's kept a clean sheet. Though City didn't do anything, like he didn't. If had that Alvarez goal gone in, I would have definitely like wanted him to be dropped.
Mm.
Like that's the finer margins, but like it didn't go in, so probably that sort of gave him the confidence to do better in the second half. Like that makes a lot of difference in how you perform throughout the game. If that Alvarez goal had gone in, probably he would have been like more nervous than what he was in the game, and that could have made a lot of difference. So
I
since that
mean,
did not go in, I would happily give him the benefit of
more
doubt.
than that, for me, the first, the goal line clearance by Rice, that was
Yeah.
Rice had like one of his most brilliant games, I guess. Like there were talks in, I think, Twitter space where people were talking about like, oh, Raya has not played big games like this. This is his first time he's playing big games like this and stuff like that. But that's true for Rice too. He has been playing big games for his North London Derby and now this City versus Arsenal. These are big games, but he stepped up in each one of those big games, big time.
Worth the
Rice
money.
has played big games. Like he
Yeah,
has
he
played
played the
like
finals
Euro
of the.
finals,
Yeah.
everything. He has played big games. He has played all these stuffs. Yeah. The only time we talk about Rice is probably like when he has like a stinker game, like
Yeah.
6.5. He
I
is
was
like a
about to say
player
that.
of who is always like around 8.59 games, 100 million worth, no doubt.
Yeah.
If Deepak
My
says that
my wife
100
my wife
million,
told the same thing. Now I like when she finished watching the game, even during the game, she was like, "Now I see why we paid 100 million for him. It's like absolutely worth every penny."
so that's the thing, right? Like I thought with the Jorginho playing, Rice would be playing a little bit up, but we played kind of a double pivot, and Rice was actually the one who was dropping deeper than Jorginho. Jorginho was the being the passer, why? But Rice was the one who was being the defensive, the one who sweeps and clears things off. That was
But he was
interesting.
also at the other end of the pitch most of the time.
There, there were multiple instances where he was begging the ball from Jesus, and
Yeah.
that idiot didn't even see anything. He just wanted to dribble like a madman.
But that's the thing, right? Like, okay, we were talking about NKT a little bit, Deepak, right? Like, Jesus is not the solution, but NKT does a lot of things, but NKT is not the solution either.
100%. He had like a really good like chance to hit the target, and his technique was completely wrong.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, Eddie, he is not a first choice. That's known. He is like a second striker. We are not like City to someone to have Alvarez as your second choice.
Mhm.
We haven't reached that level, or we don't, or let's say we have spent money. But yeah, probably we can spend money and like get a better second striker. But it's kind of tough to. It will be the same thing again, I guess. People will be talking about, oh yeah, Ramsdale Raya. Is this guy better than Jesus or something? But but yeah, Nketiah is not our first choice. Definitely, he. Yeah, if Saka was fit enough, I don't think so. He would have started for sure. It would
Yeah.
have been Jesus, Saka, and Trossard.
But Trossard had a very bad game.
Yeah, that I think we discussed during the preview itself. He's someone who doesn't play well when he starts, but he's like a really good option to come off the bench around like 68th or 70th minute. He
Mhm.
can do some kind of magic. Yeah, he did the same thing during Community Shield as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a very good option. It's not we
So I
don't have to
wasn't
complain that he didn't play well. Oh yeah, okay, fine.
I wasn't expecting too much from him, to be honest. It was a game against Walker. Like he doesn't have the
Yeah.
physicality or the pace to match Walker. It's the trickery, but there was nothing given to him in terms of trickery either. So yeah, and he was not fully fit. So that's why we heard that he left. He started feeling something at the 30th minute, and that's why he was subbed off by 45 minutes. So I
But
wouldn't hold that
okay,
against him.
so taking away from Trossard and coming back to the striker situation, though, right? Like, I mean, we are jumping ahead to the end of the game, but Havertz at 9 looks much better than Havertz at 8.
Hopefully, Arteta realizes that soon. It's good for us. The
Yeah.
good thing he realized this game that he yeah he didn't want to start him. He didn't want to go with two donkeys in the team. He,
Two donkeys.
so he dropped one donkey and he played with at least one.
But donkeys do have good work rate though.
Yeah,
That's not enough, Arun.
but
That's definitely not enough. We are not anymore that Arsenal that could justify Lacazette doing everything else
No,
other
I
than
understand
scoring.
what you mean, but I think Arteta trusts. I might be totally wrong here, but seeing Eddie play regularly, especially in the big games, sort of makes me think that he sees Eddie the same way that Ferguson saw Welbeck, like a big game player who would do the dirty donkey work. He might not have a goal at the end of the game, but he'll do what the manager wants him to do perfectly to a T. Like the
I
manager did
would
not want him to overcome it. I don't. It might be early. I might be totally wrong, but just
how
the
I wish we had Welbeck now.
Welbeck in Brighton is like just ripping apart everything. I mean,
that's the
really.
difference.
I
Yeah.
mean, the thing is, like, I always had a good feeling about Welbeck, right? Like, even though he played for United and then came to us and stuff. By the way, did you guys talking about like old strikers? Did you guys see Giroud playing as goalkeeper?
Uh,
That
Well, I'm
guy,
surprised. Maybe he should have been a goalkeeper. He hardly scored like a lot. He didn't
for
score
us,
a lot of goals for us.
but he
Yeah,
is France's top goal scorer. And
I know.
also, like, he has won like all these things with Chelsea and shit talked about us a lot. So
Yeah. So let's not talk about him now. I don't want to talk about him now.
I mean, enough complaining about our own players. I guess it's time to complain about something that I am very fond of, which is complain about the referees. Uh, I mean, I've talked about this. We know my take on the referees. I'm not gonna say, oh, this is a mistake because referees are getting paid by Manchester City, who is owned by this corporation. No, it's just that referees are bad and that they have their own biases, and it's very, very bad because their biases always impact the decision making, which shouldn't be happening. That Kovacic thing is a red card. The second, I
it,
mean, if you don't give the red card, what is VAR doing there, right?
sleeping there. That's what they're doing.
No, the thing is, like, that's the whole point, right? Like, on-field referees, they said, could afford to make mistakes, and VAR is allowed to interfere in situations, not for like serious fouls and stuff like that. And this is a serious foul, a red card
Yeah,
situation.
that it's a clear red card. I don't know what else is a red card now. If that is not a red card, I don't know what else is a red card. If Shaka had done this, he would have been banned for 10 games.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not even. No.
Casemiro got a red card for nothing. Like, who is that? Jones in Liverpool game. He got a red
Yeah.
card for nothing. At least his foul was like subjective. The ball rolled over and he tackled that player. If that is a red, this is 100% is a red. He didn't even get the ball. It was studs out. The baffling thing is he didn't get a second yellow. It's
Yep.
Yeah.
literally almost the same tackle.
And it
There,
was
yeah,
right in front
what?
of the referee's eyes,
Yes,
that's the worst part. It was like right in front of their
And
eyes.
this is the same referee who gave that double yellow to Martinelli,
yeah.
which
Yeah.
never happened again. Like, it happened, and it was surprising for all of us, and then it never happened ever again in the game.
Yeah, it will never. Yeah, of course, it will not happen. These guys are useless. Pretty
But
much.
These
Yeah,
things
that's
will
why they never go to these biggest FIFA games, referee, all these, because they know English referees are shit.
Arun,
in
are you going to defend this in any way?
No, I'm not going to defend anything. For me, it's just that it's going to happen every week. Just get used to it. And just that's what I feel. We're 8 weeks into the season right now. We've seen at least a minimum of one wrong decision, be it from the on-field referee or the VAR. But we thought VAR would be the one making the changes, but then VAR is also like it's a human making the decision at the end of the day, and it's not about the rules; it's about the interpretation of the rules, and no one's like consistent with that. So um, I think this is something that if we want to focus on this as a topic, we would have to keep talking about this every week when we talk about like some decision or the other. And
But
I don't think this is going to
Yeah,
change. This is not going to change this season.
the only country which has a problem with war is England. Every
Yeah.
other country has a proper implementation of war. how to use VAR and stuff. These guys don't know to use VAR. Like there is proper technology to like help you make decision, but the decisions are made by the same clowns. So
Yeah,
nothing is going to change.
For me, the
nothing is
biggest
going to
problem
change.
is like when I say I am this conspiracy theorist regarding the referees, is because this happens in big games and especially against us. And yes, it would happen with the like other teams in big games too, and that's why the magnifying glass comes out and stuff. But like it's a blatant foul here. It is a blatant let off. If that let off led to a goal and we finish this game, this is going to be a big topic. Like what happened with our, the game after the United game, after that broke our invincible thing. That game was one of the shittiest refereeing ever,
Yeah, we
right?
have faced that. This is nothing new.
No, I'm just saying, like all those big games go under the microscope, but nothing gets done. That is 2004. And now we are like, what, 20 years after that, and still talking about referee decisions being bad.
That's why I said there's no use talking about it. We'll have to have a separate segment every week because definitely there's something going to happen every single week. It's nothing's going to change. I think I have resorted to had we lost, I would have been really pissed, but thankfully that wasn't the case. But yeah, I've sort of like like accepted it. This is how the quality is going to be. They if because the if there needs to be a change, then the body that is at the top, the ones that are responsible need to be ready to accept and implement changes. And the PL clubs are there to be blamed too, because the decision to
Yeah,
not have the on-side automated technology was opposed by all the PL clubs as well as the PGMO, I believe. So, well, they get what they asked for, right? They could have asked for the implementation of technology. They could have put more pressure. They did not do it, and then now we are just at the point of complaining. Yeah, it's true. Referees are the arbitrators. They have to be proper in all the games, but the team should also do more. Right now, with whatever Liverpool has done, they're going to get all 50-50s in their favor. All 20 teams should be doing it. That should be the fear that these referees should be having. But if the teams don't do it, then we as fans keep talking about it. I really don't see that making any changes in there. We can just lament about what happened, and that's it.
Okay, getting back to the game though, like the substitutions. Martinelli kind of like came in and changed the game. Even before that goal, I think he was the. I mean, going up against Walker, who is probably, I mean, for me, he is the best, uh, fullback of Premier League era. He is the best fullback of Premier League era. And going against him is always a difficult thing. But Martinelli, when he came in, he started doing a lot of things that was missing in the game, which was being unpredictable, taking shots. I think he had more shots than anyone else in the game, even though he came at halftime. Uh,
yeah, you know what he brings to the plate. It's like constant pressure on the opposition's fullback.
mhm,
It's it doesn't matter if it comes good or not bad. He constantly keeps trying and trying and trying. Sometimes it might help, not sometimes, most of the times it helps us because like he puts the pressure on that opposition fullback, and it also helps us defensively because he pushes them back, because like Walker is pretty like really good going forward as well. So yeah, that substitution, probably nothing happened to Trossard. That the injury turned out to be a blessing in disguise for us. Yeah, and Martinelli frustrates us a lot sometimes, taking unnecessary shots, dribbling into blind alleys and everything. But at the end of the day, what he brings to this team, he brings that unpredictability and that constant pressure on the opposition fullback, which is
mhm.
what he did.
Deepak, Arun, it was interesting to see that, like, I mean, it was not interesting, but like all the substitutes were involved in it. But the most
Mhm.
interesting thing was that it started with Partey, and we have not seen Partey and Rice, playing midfield together. But that
Mhm.
moment, that period when Partey came in and both of them played midfield, Partey sat deeper than Rice, but Partey always has that pass that Jorginho was missing. Jorginho was
Mhm, mhm.
passing a lot, but like all were like sideways and like conservative passing, while Partey's thing was like direct passing into the lines and stuff. Um, do you see that like this is going to be the pattern, which means we would be breaking that one man midfield, and we would be creating that, instead of two eights, we would be playing like a double pivot with Odegaard is that how you see it?
For some time, I think that would be a good option, but I don't think for me that would be a great midfield three, which would mean that Rice would get rest, Partey would get rest, and Havertz would have enough time to be get used to that role. Either he doesn't have to start right from the beginning. He can also come in as a substitute, start the smaller games, and not get more confidence. But I don't think the manager is going to play that as often. It still will be like Rice at six. That's what I believe is going to happen. Party playing at six along with Rice at eight would probably be for the big games, the main European games, maybe like when we are playing away from home. That outside of that, I don't see that becoming regular. Though I would love to see that, I don't think that's going to become regular.
You think Partey is going to be
I'll be
benched?
I'll
Yeah,
be
he'll
happy if
play.
Partey does. Yeah. I'll be
Yeah.
happy if Partey is benched rather than starting it right back.
I mean, right back is fine, but I'm talking about a situation where Partey and Rice are on the field and not in a right back position.
Yeah, it would be I think that is the best 11 for us, given the
Mhm.
players we have and how it has started at the number 8 position.
Mm.
Yeah, but yeah, I think like Arteta would still stick and try to fit in Howard somehow. But I would really love to see Partey, Rice, and Ode.
Mhm. Okay, I think that's where we will leave because there was only one goal in the game to talk about. So, and we did talk about it a little bit. For everyone listening, I think the drill. Go ahead, like, share, subscribe, comment in what your thoughts are on the games. Whatever we have missed in. So we will move on to the other portion, which we will talk about the other games in the Premier League. I'll throw the games at you guys as usual, and you let me know your thoughts on the game. Right, I'll start with Arun. The Luton Tottenham, yeah, Tottenham are now top of the league to say the least. But we know Tottenham, what they will do and stuff. They did have a red card in the game and still ended up winning 1-0. But I think Luton did play really well. I think they had as much shots as Tottenham, I think.
Luton
They
was shit.
missed two, three sitters,
Yeah,
idiots.
like the shot that Adebayo guy missed. Oh my god! Like those are the kind of chances that you shouldn't miss, no matter where you play, especially if you're playing for a bottom of team fighting relegation that has just been promoted. Those are the kind of chances that you absolutely have to bury. And even if you'd given them 10 more chances, they wouldn't have scored a goal.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Luton were like, yeah, at least for Burnley, you could say that they built the game up and they lacked the quality in the final third. But Luton and Sheffield, I don't think it's all nice to romanticize their journey all the way up to the top, and the fact that with that stadium they're finally able to play at the highest level. But honestly speaking, they don't seem like a team that would uh like win any a lot of games this season. They might struggle a lot, and they're going to struggle a lot. But
But
finishing is big, yeah.
but what about Tottenham? They are still unbeaten.
Tottenham, they're still unbeaten. It'll come down at some point in time for sure. It's how they react when they lose. That's what matters. But like in a game like this, you take, like I said, whatever chance you get, and especially when the other team go that's like down to 10 men, all that you need is one goal, and you can just sit back and defend, especially when the opposition is like not of a higher quality. And that's what Luton Town are. So Tottenham, everything worked perfectly fine for them. Like I said, give them 10 more chances, Luton Town wouldn't have scored a goal. And when it's things like that, you cannot survive, you cannot stay at in the Premier League. You're definitely going to drop. I really hope that they wouldn't, because of all this nice stories surrounding them coming up. But like honestly, they don't have the quality. Them and Sheffield don't have the quality. Maybe
Mm.
Burnley too. I think like I might have to change. Let's see if they changes, but I might have to change my initial prediction of all three teams staying.
Mm.
Oh,
Spurs
sorry,
haven't
Burnley
faced
staying. Yeah.
any. Spurs
First,
haven't faced any
Liverpool
except us
as
like
Liverpool
tricky.
United. All
tricky
three.
away games. United are shit. That is another thing. Uh, like we messed up our game. Apart from that, they haven't faced any tricky away
Liverpool.
games. Like
Liverpool.
Liverpool wasn't away; it was their home.
They're home, yeah.
Like West Ham, Aston Villa, these are like really, really tricky away games, even for us. So let's see how Spurs go on from there. And yeah, they are definitely top four challenges, given that they are not in Europe as well. They have just one competition, or two maybe. The FA Cup, they are already out of the Carabao Cup.
Mhm.
So they have like ample amount of rest. But if Madison gets injured, it's done.
Deepak, sticking with you, Burnley and Chelsea. Chelsea looks like they are getting back to their groove. They are scoring more.
Chelsea, yeah. Yeah, Chelsea will be definitely a tricky team for every one of us. They they have like a really, really good squad. They have been playing well. They are third or fourth in chances created. The only issue is they don't finish it. This game, they finished every chance which they got. So that's the difference. Burnley, they are going down with the way they try to build up all this nonsense that might have worked in championship. They have to go back to their old Burnley, like Sean Dyche Burnley, to survive, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
Okay, so the next game, I'll throw the United and Brentford game at you, Arun. I mean, for me, United doesn't deserve that point.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
you know what, I cannot, I don't know if we can say that. I mean, like Brentford faltered when it mattered, and United just made use of it, and it was 11v11 both teams. There was no like wrong decision that went against either of the team. There was nothing that was unjust in the game. When you're playing bad, you need, and especially the run that they've had where they've not won in a while, they need all that they can get on their side if they want to win, and that's what happened. Brentford lost the plot when they had to be, then they had to concentrate more, and when they had to be at the top of their games. Like, you're 91 minutes, you're leading 1-0, and you're losing in the last 5 minutes.
Mhm.
When you could have played the game so much better, you could have controlled the game in so many different ways. All that United did was the old trick of putting bodies inside the box and overloading inside the box and putting the ball in.
Yep.
Like they didn't do anything magical towards the end of the game. But Brentford faltered, so at that point, I don't know if United did not deserve it. I would say Brentford deserved that loss in terms of how they managed the game towards the end of the game. They got too excited. They should have been like more defensively, more. And the second goal that McTominay scored, that was like lazy from the goalkeeper. That should have
Yep.
been saved. That should have definitely been saved. So for me, I really don't see. Just United wanted it more, and they showed it with how they played at the end of the game. If Brentford really wanted it more, they should have done a way better job. Like I told last episode, they have a really good coach. The
Yep.
board is letting the coach down, giving like him the players that he has at his disposal right now. I
Mhm.
don't think that's right.
Two games, Deepak. One is the Fulham Sheffield United. Fulham won 3-1, and the other one's Everton Bournemouth. Everton's picking up pace. They won a 3-0 against Bournemouth.
Yeah,
Uh,
Everton has created more chances than City this season.
City.
Yep.
Yeah, I told you like 2-3 weeks back itself, they are almost fourth or fifth in chances created.
Mhm.
Everton have been playing well. It's same like Chelsea. They were missing chances. Now they are converting, they are turning it into points. They will be safe. They have signed like good players. They have had good players, but they were completely underperforming for last 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons max. But yeah, I think they will be safe, hopefully, because there are like really, really bad teams than them. One of them is Bournemouth. Yeah, they are struggling really bad. And Sheffield, yeah, it's another team who just came up to championship, collect the money from Premier League, go back to championship.
But the thing is,
That's
like
how it looks.
Fulham is playing really good too. And it was surprising to see Willian playing really good. I mean, it's not surprising anymore, but he's actually playing really good. And I think in this game they had like 20 odd shots or something. So Fulham was like
Yeah.
completely
I think they
dominant.
played. Yeah, they played really well last season as well. They lost their star striker, but
Mhm.
they still performing well. Willian at 34, it's like vintage. He's playing like vintage Willian from Chelsea.
What a situation. I don't. Brighton Liverpool was actually a fun game for
Yeah,
me
it
at
was.
least to watch because it was like two teams just attacking, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know, Salah still got it.
See,
Salah,
anyone who
he is still the
discounts, like,
best
yeah,
right winger in the Premier
honestly,
League.
you discount Salah at your own peril. The guy performs week in, week out. He's got amazing upper body strength, amazing trickery, amazing pace. Nothing has changed. And he will continue to play at this level for at least another couple of years here in the Premier League. His role is changing, but the way in which he's adapting to this new role at his age is unbelievable. Not a lot of players. Uh, you need to be receptive. You need to also be, like, willing to make that change, receptive of what the manager wants to you to do, and not have really the ego to be an assist provider and not just the main goal scorer. So he's unbelievable when you think about it, at what he does. Definitely will go down as, like Deepak said, the best right winger the Premier League has ever seen. And more than that, it was like, I was really surprised to see Allison let that goal in. It, like, for a second I thought it was Onana at goal. That's not the We know the quality of Allison, and then, like, he's not someone who generally you see letting goals like that, like the ball pass below him and all that. Brighton could have won, so could have Liverpool. It was a really exciting game, like how City and Arsenal was like two teams with similar managerial thinkers. It was similar here as well. Like, you never see Klopp backing down. You
Yeah,
never see Brighton deserve be breaking down
but I
either.
think Deserby and like Klopp had like a touchline, a spat that I saw at least.
No, it's not that. Deserby was going to fight fourth position. Klopp
Uh-huh.
held back.
Oh.
Held him back. That's it.
Okay, so moving on, Deepak, West Ham, Newcastle, 2-2, which was surprising. Surprising in the sense that, like, I think neither of the team actually controlled it for me. Like, even though Newcastle looked like on paper they had more possession and stuff, I don't think they controlled the game that much better than West Ham.
Yeah, these are two really good teams, like on paper, right? West Ham actually, like this. If I see this season, Premier League is getting tougher the year by year.
Yeah.
Almost every team looks tougher. If you
Mhm.
look at the top 10 table, or almost still like 12th, all these are like really, really tricky away games. So the quality has gone high. It has gone up another level this season. Looks like the only team probably City can steamroll others, but apart from that, every game for us also would be tricky. Like
Oh yeah,
Newcastle, West Ham,
definitely. Yeah.
Aston Villa, Fulham,
Brighton.
yeah,
Brighton.
Brighton, yeah. Yeah, but the West Ham and Newcastle United game, I saw the highlights. It was like really end-to-end game. West Ham could have actually won that game. They missed a easy goal at the
One
end.
last chance. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They missed it one last chance. Yeah.
Okay, Arun, last two games, Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, 0-0 was not interesting at all. It was
I
a
didn't I
boring game.
didn't I didn't see that game. I didn't see that game.
It was really boring. Wolves, Aston Villa again. I mean, it was interesting, but Wolves did get a red card but that's towards the end, which didn't
yeah.
actually.
Villa should have. Yeah, Villa should have won the game. They hit the post
Yep,
like 94th minute.
yep.
So yeah.
Villa does look like a team that is interesting.
Yeah, they
Uh,
are like like Emery. They are properly structured, well-trained team.
mhm.
They have like Ollie Watkins, who's probably like should have got a call up like 2 years back, but then Rashford being that idiot donkey in that England team. But yeah, finally he got his call up. So yeah, like I said, these are like really, really tricky away games for us. So yeah,
Mm. anyways, I think
I
that's
think like yeah, that's the thing. Like these teams like West Ham and Villa are not going to win anything domestically, but they are going to be the sort of difference makers when it comes to who wins the league at the end, because they're not like there are 3 or 4 teams which have improved so much. Even at when you're playing them at home, a win is not a given anymore.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's like they are going to like make you drop points. They are going to be the difference makers at the end of the season. You know.
3-4 seasons back, you could have said these are like definite 3 points for us. But
Yeah.
right now, the games like look really, really tough.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the end of our roundup for all the PL games. And uh, any talks on goal of the week? Any goal of the weeks that you guys could remember?
Jack Harrison.
Mhm.
Jack
Yeah,
Harrison,
that's
Everton
really a
versus
good
Bournemouth.
call.
Yeah.
Though it was like a really lazy work from the Bournemouth goalkeeper. It was, he took the shot. It was a good difficult angle. It was a good shot. So for me, it's Jack Harrison. Yeah.
For me, it was the Dunks goal. That was a great delivery, and I think that was a great finish.
Oh yeah, that was a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was those were the two
No,
things that.
that was an okay goal, but I understand like seeing that Robertson missing that goal. Fuck Robertson.
with that sound as the end of this podcast, I think we'll finish this off. Thank you guys, thank you for joining in, and for listeners, please do keep supporting us. One more subscriber and we would be 300, so please do share it with your friends. Thank you guys, meet you after the international break. Bye.